to the 99, where we are focused on brewing a better competitive Commander. I'm your host, Patrick Marlette. Now, back in April of this year, the Commander Rules Committee made an unexpected decision. They banned the card Flash. In their statement, they remarked how a select group of cEDH players that they trust mentioned how this could help to cultivate the community. And from here I quote, "Though they represent a small fraction of the Commander player base, we are willing to make this effort for them. It should not be taken as a signal that we are considering any kind of change in how we intend to manage the format. This is an extraordinary step, and one we are unlikely to repeat." We spoke on the banning of Flash then, and I bring it back up now off the wings of my previous video, whether or not you feel win the game spells should be banned from Commander, because I want to know your thoughts on this very subject. Do you feel casual and competitive Commander should have separate ban list? Now, just like that previous video, note that this is only a thought experiment, so please keep the conversation civil in the comment section down below. Now, I know with almost absolute certainty that the RC won't receive this video. I'm not a member of their cEDH circle, nor do they express an interest to listen to cEDH players beyond this previous ban, at least from their own statements. However, it is a conversation that I did want to hold with at least the people that play this format, you all that watch this channel. So before I jump into this video, I want you all to know the best way to help support this channel is via Patreon. If you enjoy the conversations we have here, if you enjoy the deck techs, if you enjoy Brew Wars and more, the best way to help support its production is via Patreon. And as our Brew Babies and Brew Crew members know, there's a special shout out at the end of this video to one of our members, and we're gonna get to hear the lovely thoughts and opinions of one of our Brew Crew on the monthly topic. And for the month of October, our monthly topic is, what keyword would you like to return to MTG and why? And I'd love to know your thoughts on the monthly topic as well. What would you like to return to the world of MTG? Ante? Is that something you want? Someone mentioned that last week, and kudos to you, because I agree. I would love to up the ante again. Now, concerning separate ban list, let me preface this video by stating I am against bans. I'm against bans. I don't like bans in this game. However, I am about balanced games of Commander for all players, not just the cEDH community. So, assuming a ban does need to occur, like how I feel with win the game spells and how they're disharmonious to this 4-player format. It just doesn't make sense that a spell says 3 people lose the game for 1 card, particularly Thassa's Oracle. Do I feel separate ban lists are necessary between casual and competitive players? I do not feel we should have separate bans list, and I have 3 reasons why. Competitive dictates casual. The F word isn't universal. And lastly, Commander is Commander. The most common retort I hear as to why we should have separate ban lists is this: why should the smallest player base dictate what the rest of us are allowed to play? Now, this may come as a surprise to some, and I mean this unsarcastically, but take it however you want. In every format, bans occur from the top down. Those among us that strive to play this game at its most efficient, at its most competitive, rest atop this pyramid. And guess what? That happens to be a minority player base. Only players that have their mind set on breaking this game rest atop there. And when they do happen to break the game, WotC tries its best to create balance. So why should Commander be any different? Competitive players are the ones that find the best route to enacting a win. When they do, a new meta is formed with decks, playlines, and strategies further optimized with each successive set. April was the last time a game-breaking card was banned. Not since then has anything changed, apart from the meta. Another mantra I hear is, this won't affect casual play, but I dislike being told what I can play. And I agree. Bans that happen from the top have this trickle-down effect. They won't affect players in the same way from competitive to casual play. In most cases, these bans won't harm the majority of players at all, but they will limit your card choice. However, if these limitations lead to cultivating a better gaming experience for those that play this format at its most competitive, then the reverse must be true. The experience for casual players will be enhanced, as Flash paired with Hulk won't be seen there either. No one likes being on the receiving end of a pub stomp. I don't recall anyone ever telling me a story where they've enjoyed that. Feeling like you were cheated out of a fun game experience because of a strategy not commonly seen at your level of play. Now, bans solve this. It's important to be forthcoming with your player group in regards to what you're bringing to the table, as that imbalance could lead to feel-bads or unfun situations. However, it's also important to note that your concept of fun isn't going to be the same for the next player. For some, dropping Crater Hoof and swinging out or playing Triumph of the Hordes with that same army of creatures to enact a win is the height of their gaming experience. It's the most fun. For others, destroying everyone's lands and playing for attrition is their idea of fun. In competitive Commander, we get the whole spectrum. Combos are rampant, infinite play lines determine games, and sometimes games are simply won. Everyone has a different version of what makes a fun game experience. Fun is not the same from one player to the next, and it should never be the reason any card is banned. If you lose your lands to Ravages of War, play more counterspells. If you dislike discarding your hand to Sire of Insanity, play more removal. Tune your list to your meta. A card being unfun is not the same as a card being broken. Only cards that cause imbalance should be banned. Now, I can't speak for the current philosophy of the Rules Committee, but they appear to have a different idea as to how things should be banned, and it's not wholly aligned with which cards break this format. A format that is largely considered casual, and this may be the most important thing to note, there is no World Championship for us. We competitive Commander players brew and play at our best because we enjoy heightened interactions and complicated board states. That's what makes this game fun for us. All we want is a seat at the table. No, Flash wasn't an issue for the masses, but it shouldn't take so much effort to finally see it banned for the minority group. The last call to arms I hear concerning bans is Rule 0. However, Rule 0 only applies to the boundaries of your kitchen table. Even still, not everyone will come to terms with decisions your individual player base makes. Resolving issues with format balance requires broader strokes. At the end of the day, there's no difference between casually minded players and those that seek to play Commander competitively. It's the exact same game, with no need for a separate ban list. What it does need are more open discussions with players at every level of play to ensure that the game experience we share is balanced, assuming something needs to be banned. And with that, I'll pass the conversation off to you. What are your thoughts on this very topic? Do you feel casual and competitive should have separate ban lists? I would love to know any and all your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now, before I close out this video, guys, if you want to help support the content you see here, again, the best way to do so is via Patreon. There's a link in the description that notates all of the benefits you will receive as a Patreon member. But to close this one out, I do want to thank one special patron, and that extra special patron through complete randomnicity is Rory Witt. Rory, thank you so much for being a Brew Baby. You are among the best. And for their thoughts on the monthly topic, I turn to Brew Crew member Samuel.
Hey, my name's Samuel Parr, and I'd like to see Cypher return because it was a mechanic that had huge potential, but it only ever had 13 cards printed with the mechanic, and the only one that's really notable is Whispering Madness because it synergizes with Notion Thief, but all other instances of Cypher are kinda unremarkable. But that being said, it has the possibility of being one of the most flexible and highest value mechanics in MTG.
I love when people talk about the spirit of the format. I mean, this game has evolved so far from its roots as Elder Dragon Highlander. The fact that we call it EDH still is a remnant of the past. This game is Commander, and we should have a singular ban list for its players. Now, I do want to go over just a few more quotes here for you all, and I'll leave this in the description as well so you can check it out. But I'm over at mtgcommander.net, so this is Commander RC's headquarters, and I'm looking over their philosophy of Commander, and I'm going to read over some quotes, and you're going to immediately think Thassa's Oracle. Trust me. Or win the game in general. Trust me. The goal of the ban list is similar. It does not seek to regulate competitive play or power level, which are decisions best left to the individual playgroups. I agree. The ban list seeks to demonstrate which cards threaten the positive player experience at the core of the format or prevent players from reasonable self-expression. Okay, so like having decks that establish different play lines or strategies of being of interest. So if you were to go over their list of things, there's a few I'm going to highlight. Allow players to win out of nowhere. Okay. Well, there's no card that says instant speed win. That was Flash, right? cause other players to feel they must play certain cards even though they are also problematic, right? So we're all going to play the same card to win the game, are very difficult for other players to interact with, especially if doing so requires dedicated narrow responses when deck building, like having Angel's Grace in the list that only contains white to stop a spell that says win the game, lead to repetitive gameplay. What? It's like we're on the same wavelength, RC. At me, dogs. There's a bunch of things breaking this game, and I'm telling you, the folks at the top of that pinnacle see them every day. See them every day. I don't understand. However, again, love to hear your thoughts down below. My name is Patrick Marlett, and happy brewing, babies.